The Petitos versus the Laundries. The judge puts down his first ruling in the case. What's up, blind viewers? How's everybody doing? That's right. The Gabby Petito's parents, they filed a suit against the Laundries, and the suit was for outrageous behavior. I will put a link if you didn't watch it. You can go check it out, all about what that's all about. But the judge said that he would have a ruling within 2 weeks. Well, he was quick to draw, and the motion by the Laundries to dismiss was denied. That's right. So it will go on. The Petitos, they wanted to be going on to a jury trial, but it didn't get that far yet. What happens now is it goes into discovery. Now, I will get into all this, but I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what I'm talking about. That's why I watch this stuff. I follow this stuff and try to figure things out. But what I did do was I went over and I watched someone who does know what they're talking about. And the discovery phase is where they go and they get things, and they actually can now subpoena the Laundries, make them show up, make them answer questions. They are required to answer questions now. So when they are asked, did Brian come home? Did he do this? Did he tell you that? They have to now actually say something, as before they were under no legal requirement. We'll get to that later. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I am just going by what I have heard from the lawyer. And my lawyer of choice today is Emily Baker. That's right, Miss Emily Baker. I will put a link below to what I am referring to. And now if you click on the link, don't get excited because it is over 3 hours long. However, she does have it in chapters, so you can go to the Petito chapter if you so wish, and you can watch everything that she says, and she explains it very, very well, better than I can. But I figured I'd get on here and tell you what I've learned from watching Emily and watching the things so far. Both sides go through their case, but this is what Emily says. She thinks that this is going to be a hard case to get to a jury, and she really doesn't think that the Petitos want a monetary gain. She thinks that this whole discovery is what they're looking for.
This is just Emily thoughts. I still think the purpose of this case is discovery. And they are now successful in moving forward to discovery. And I think that that's the point of this case. I don't think winning is the goal here. I think there's enough for them to file a case without it being completely legally improper. You know, you have to have grounds to file a case and survive a motion to dismiss like this. A motion to dismiss, we'll talk about the standard for the motion to dismiss in a moment.
She gets into all this.
But
excellent.
With the motion to dismiss being survived, we now move into discovery, which means the Petitos or their lawyer, and I call them the Petitos because Gabby's last name was Petito.
Yeah,
I know that her mother has a separate last name, Schmidt. I don't mean any disrespect to
I kept
her mother.
saying Gabby's parents
I
for the same reason.
Them together instead of doing Petito Schmidt or Petito and Schmidt, but Gabby's mother and father. So with that, they get to discovery, meaning that they can now propound discovery, requests for admissions, interrogatories, like we're breaking down in the Britney Spears case. Yes, there is so much that happened in that case. We're going to get to it Tuesday.
But anyway.
But they can do, or they can start serving deposition subpoenas to make the Laundries sit down under oath and answer questions about what they knew and when.
See, there we go. That's what I was just talking about. So this is Emily Baker. She knows her shit, and she's awesome. She likes the cursey words like me. But yeah, her and a couple of the other Legal Bites is another one. And there's some other ones that I go to, but she is my kind of my number one go-to for all this legal stuff. She explains it, she breaks it down pretty good. And so, yeah, that is the first little tidbit. Now, I know a lot of you were saying about, you know, the Laundries, they should be able to be charged with something. They should be this, they should be. Remember, Brian Laundrie was not charged with anything, so they were not harboring a criminal or a fugitive or anything like that. And the police, the FBI, and everybody else, you know, they didn't find anything during their little investigation that they were withholding, because I'm sure they asked them some questions. Maybe they plead the fifth the whole time. But let's go to that. Let's go to that little tidbit.
A note about legal duty. Laying aside for the moment the statement that the Laundries made through their attorney, the other conduct plaintiffs complain of mostly involves the Laundries failing to act. Specifically, plaintiffs seek to fault the Laundries for not telling the plaintiffs that Gabby was dead or where her body was located. The Laundries frame their quote-unquote silence in constitutional terms, arguing that their silence was constitutionally permissible under the First, Fifth, and Sixth Amendments to the United States Constitution and the related Florida Constitution provisions. It's interesting that they believe that the Fifth Amendment applied here, because the Fifth Amendment applies when you believe that you can be brought up on a crime.
So that's important to me. At least, again, I'm not a lawyer, I don't know, but listening to what Emily just said, that they are under no legal obligation to tell these people anything. But as she just said, you usually only plead the fifth if speaking could incriminate yourself and you could be charged with something. So maybe something will come out later in this discovery. Remember, that's why she thinks that this whole thing is going about, just so they can get the discovery. But maybe there will be something that will come forward, and, you know, because now they have to speak and they might have to incriminate themselves. I don't know. I don't know how it all works, but you just heard the expert's opinion.
The court does not believe it is necessary or appropriate in this case to resolve these constitutional claims on a motion to dismiss. The contours of the facts are not sufficiently distilled to apply these important guarantees. The claims are more appropriately addressed, if at all, at the summary judgment stage. Summary judgment is after or substantially through discovery, where more facts are brought, saying, Your Honor, this can't even go to a jury. Legally, this can't survive. So it's a motion.
So that's another thing that she was talking. She talks about that. So after or during discovery, after discovery, they can say, "Hey, look, this is what we got. This is what they got." So see, they don't even have enough to go to jury, and they can make a judgment for that now. So that's why I said the judge made his first ruling in this, because it still may not get to a jury. And Emily says in the beginning that she says it is going to be very, very difficult because of some of these legal things that we're talking about now. And she does say legality, morality, which I spoke about in the first little video that I did. Again, a lot of us think that there is a moral obligation to do this, but legally, is it? And again, I keep saying I'm not a lawyer, so legally, I don't know. But that's why I watch her, and that's why I'm sharing this with you guys, because instead of yelling at me in the comment section and stating law to me, I'm going to let the lawyer say what she knows, and I'm not going to try to stick up because I don't know. I honestly don't know, and that's why I'm learning some things watching all these trials. So the Laundries had no obligation, because once they said they plead the fifth, they plead the fifth. However, however, now, in the other video, I did speak again about the lawyer made one statement, and we'll get into that. I'll just let Emily read all that part about it to you, and maybe that will spread some light, shine some light on it, because, yeah, basically what they're saying, what the judge is saying in his ruling is, if they would have pled the fifth, this would have been dismissed right off the bat.
Required is key. Plaintiffs appear to conflate morality with legal duty. Your Honor, we call that legality and morality over here on the YouTube.
On the YouTube.
Just on my channel.
Mine too, Emily. Mine too.
Morality with legal duty. Plaintiffs have not identified, and the court is unaware of any legal duty the Laundries would have owed to plaintiffs to tell the plaintiffs that Gabby was dead or the location of her body.
Plaintiffs, she kept saying.
Morality, legality. Further, the plaintiffs point to no duty that the Laundries were under to accept text or social media messages from plaintiffs or refrain from taking a vacation while the plaintiffs searched for Gabby. Legal duty different. It's shitty. It's shitty is not a legal duty. That's where the morality comes in.
See?
And the court says, but...
Here we go.
Here we are.
Here we go.
Make this big because this is important.
Make it big.
If the facts of this case were truly about silence with no affirmative act by the Laundries, the court would have resolved this case in the Laundries' favor on the concept of legal duty, or more precisely, the lack of any legal duty for the Laundries to act. Had the Laundries truly stayed silent, the court would have granted the motion to dismiss in the Laundries' favor. But they did not stay silent. The Laundries spoke. The Laundries' attorney released a statement that plaintiffs argue was outrageous under the facts of this case. Plaintiffs sufficiently alleged that the Laundries spoke, quote, Christopher Laundrie and Roberta Laundrie through their lawyer issued the following statement. At oral argument, the Laundries contend that there was no allegation in the amended complaint that their attorney knew that Gabby was dead or the whereabouts of her body when he released the Laundries' statement.
So, what we got here from the expert, not the not the YouTube armchair quarterback, from the expert who knows the law. I forget, she 20-some years in law, and she was a district attorney and all kind of good stuff. But yeah, she's the real deal. She is the real deal for sure. But basically, what's going down here is that part of this lawsuit is that they knew when Brian came home, they knew that Gabby was no longer. They knew where she was. They knew this and that. And the Petitos reached out to the Laundries and said, look, as parents, just tell us where she is. We know you know. She lived with you for a little over a year and this and that. They were engaged and this. Just let us know. Let us know. And then after that, they did not respond. They blocked the phone number. They cut off communications on social media and everything. It was a complete blackout. And what the law says is that the Laundries had no obligation to the plaintiffs to tell them anything. And then later on, as we just heard, if they would have pled the fifth and stayed silent and not said anything, but the lawyer released that one statement that said, I am speaking for the Laundrie, used their names and the Laundries. Both, we hope that she is found, blah, blah, blah. But he made that statement. And as an agent of the Laundries, he was speaking on behalf of the Laundries, and he did say both. And he did, so they knew what he was going to say. So what the judge is saying is, had that statement not been given, and they remained silent the entire time, he would have granted the motion to dismiss. However, that staying silent, they didn't stay silent the whole time. So therefore, the motion to dismiss was denied. And as we heard, Emily thinks that this whole thing is just for the discovery so they can find out everything. So they can close this, so they can put a pin in it, so they can find out exactly who knew what and when these things happened, why it exactly happened, and everything. Not just a speculation, not just some some things that were found in a notebook in a swamp. They want answers. They want to know exactly what happened, just for closure and peace of mind, maybe. And I agree with Emily. I think that's pretty much what they want. When I saw the number of $30,000, they probably don't care about $30,000. Isn't going to bring anyone back and isn't going to make anyone whole. $30,000 nowadays is nothing. You might as well ask for $30. So I think Emily is onto something. I think they just want this discovery phase. And if it does go to jury, and they can say, ha, see, or during this discovery phase, maybe they can get the Laundries to say something to incriminate themselves and say that, yeah, we knew this, we knew that, he did this, he did that. Because remember, what no one's talking about is this whole time about he wasn't charged with anything, but he kind of was, because remember, he was charged with using her credit card and spending over $1,000. So that made it something, not just nothing. So he kind of was charged with something, which again seems to be slipping through the cracks, because I don't hear anybody talking about that little tidbit. But again, I'm not a lawyer. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's not enough to do anything. But I don't know. It's all kind of crazy and interesting. I would like to hear from you. What do you think? Do you agree with Emily? Do you think that this is just part of the discovery, that they wanted to get to this point? They really don't care about $30,000 or any other kind of judgment like that. Do you think it's just to get some answers and some closure? Please leave me a comment below. And again, you know how it is here on this channel. You do not have to agree with me. That is never, ever, ever the point here. The point is, this is Blind Views, and that's the way I see it.
What we do here is go back.